AI defense stocks are heating up again, and on Monday, BigBear.AI is reporting earnings, and I think it could surprise a lot of people. This is a name that traders have written off, but the setup going into earnings is far more explosive than most people realize. Today, I'm breaking down why BigBear.AI might be on the verge of a serious recovery, the key numbers driving this turnaround, and what catalysts to look for on Monday that could re-rate this entire stock. Let's get into it. Big Bear AI is currently trading at just around $6 a share, as we can see here on the screen right now. And they are basically building AI powered decision intelligent platforms for the Pentagon, defense contractors, the aerospace, and critical infrastructure organizations. This isn't a flashy consumer AI company. This is a mission critical national security AI, which is backed by a space that has massive long term demand. And as government agencies modernize away from legacy systems, companies like Big Bear AI are positioned to win long duration, high margin contracts. That creates predictable revenue streams once secured, and earnings can swing sharply once these deals ramp. Here we can see their core markets, as I said previously, it's national security in the defense in the US intelligence community and homeland security. These big contracts come in and they last for many decades, many years, which is what creates such value for this stock. We saw for the last earnings, the stock dropped nearly 33% afterwards, and it hit a newer low, and it became into oversold, overreaction territory as revenue came in weaker due to contract timing, but not because demand dried up. The demand is definitely there. The company even emphasized that several government programs were being consolidated, reorganized, or shifted, which caused delays. But here's the bullish angle. Those delays don't erase the revenue. They simply push it into further quarters. And now heading into Monday's report, Big Bear AI is coming off a multi-month reset where expectations are very low, and for small cap AI names, low expectations and improving visibility is exactly how we see explosive earnings reversals happen. And I think, as we could see here, small cap stocks are generally less liquid and more volatile, meaning a surge in demand can cause a significant jump in stock price. And we could see short covering occur on this Monday, and we've seen increased analyst coverage when this happens. While one thing I want to point out is that the options are pricing in a huge implied move, and I think we've seen it with how steady it's kind of held at this 590 to the $6 range. It's kind of been teetering back and forth. It really wants to break out and choose a way to go, and I think Monday will be very important to watch. But what matters on Monday isn't a penny on earnings per share. It's really whether the revenue curve starts turning upward again. So the key items I think to watch through a bullish lens is the earnings per share was negative 7 cents last quarter. So any beat, even small, strengthens the turnaround narrative. Also, we saw revenue last quarter of 32 million. If they confirm improvement or hint at a catch up or of contracts landing, the stock will go up very quickly. Not only this, but I want to see something with their cash. We saw their cash is stronger than a lot of people assume, and the balance sheet gives them runway to execute long cycle government deals. And I want to see what they're doing with this, how the backlog is looking, and how they've moved into creating more revenue. Some of the main things I want to point out also is that last quarter they pulled full year guidance, but if they reinstate or firm up the expectations, that could trigger a major rally in the stock price on Monday. And we've seen that the contracts are very important for the momentum of the stock. So if Big Bear AI has been shortlisted for multiple U.S. defense modernization initiatives, so even a hint of progress is bullish. As we've seen here, they have a partnership with Cessant to deliver AI-enabled edge infrastructure for the battlefield. They have collaborations with SMX. They have so much different collaborations happening. And if Big Bear AI shows even modest stabilization in revenue, plus confidence around the pipeline of stuff that is to come, the stock is fundamentally worth more than its current discouraged valuation. And it's kind of teetered at this valuation, which I think is kind of overblown, and it's overdone how low it's kind of gone in the last few months, especially with how much potential the stock truly has. So in my opinion, the sentiment is extremely washed out, which is exactly when asymmetric upside exists. Analysts still rate the stock at a moderate buy, meaning Wall Street hasn't given up on it, but the retail sentiment I've been seeing is very mixed. and it's very different than what it was even just a month or two ago. And when I first found out about this stock a couple months ago, it was everyone was saying it's the future, it's gonna take over, and now we've seen the stock being in this volatility has showed that traders expect a massive post earnings move, and in low flow AI names, positive surprises get magnified very quickly. And so this, I think this can flip very quickly. And one of my favorite investing philosophies is that when other people are scared, you got to be greedy, and when other people are greedy, you got to be scared. And I feel like people have kind of moved away from being greedy in this stock, and I think we're waiting for this big move to happen. And the biggest fear last quarter was really the contract uncertainty. So if the company removes or even reduces that uncertainty, I think that sentiment will flip overnight. And this is not a crowded long, but a positive catalyst here could spark a short squeeze and a sharp squeeze upward. So if I'm looking at the chart here, which I was looking at earlier, there's very strong support at the $5.90 to $6.10 range. As we can see, the trade is trading at $6.10 right now, and buyers are constantly showing up at this range, especially after we saw a gap up here in August. And if we see a good earnings, I think there's a lot of potential. I was looking at options flow. I can't pull it up on here because it's on my phone. But the resistance zone, if earnings surprise, is at the $8 to $9 mark, and then we'll see it continue to move higher. But with a low float and high short interest, it's not extreme, but enough to fuel the volatility. And the RSI reset, it shows that the stock is nowhere near overbought, giving it room for a very large run. When earnings come in, even moderately positive, a move to the upper resistance levels is very realistic. And I think this is the main points to watch is the $8 to $9 mark. And if it can break through there, then I don't see why it will not end the year really at this $12 mark, which is what I've seen a lot of people talk about. It would pass even what we saw in February, where it was around the $10 mark. But I think there's a lot of potential here going into earnings, and it's one that I'm going to definitely be watching as we come up on it this Monday. So here's my honest view. If you're looking at this at a whole, I think that BigBear.AI is obviously a speculative AI defense play, but it has real asymmetric value, as we could see here. The risk to reward is very high, especially heading into the Monday earnings. There's risk. The risk is that revenue needs to be stabilized, but the stock is priced like nothing is good is coming. That's when I personally start taking calculated shots and I start looking at the stock as a whole. And if I were positioning, I would start a starter position here, and I would you got to understand the risk and reward. But before earnings, there's so much potential here, and I'd add, if there's confirmation of revenue trends up or pipeline that is strong and still at the same level. I think that the AI defense narrative is still massively undervalued, and BigBear.AI is one of the smallest players with outsized leverage to a single good quarter. If they deliver clarity and progress this earnings, the stock can move very fast, and we may even see $12 a share by the end of the month. So anything is really possible here. And to conclude, I want to point out the main things that are not my opinion. It's just something that is theoretical and very just accurate. BigBear.AI is entering earnings with low expectations and very high upside, which is something you want to watch as an investor very closely. So any improvement in revenue timing, contract wins, or guidance could unlock a big move. Not only this, but the technicals are clearly setting up for a breakout if the momentum flips, as we've seen here. It's consolidated very nicely, and there's so much support that a momentum break could happen very quickly. Also, the AI defense megatrend is still intact, and BigBear.AI is small enough that one strong quarter can change the entire trajectory of the stock and exactly how analysts and major players are looking at the stock. If you're watching this name, this Monday's report might be the moment that shifts sentiment and kicks off the next leg higher. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on BigBear.AI. Is it going to surprise the market? Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, drop any other stocks you want me to check out in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.